And that should be live, hopefully. Good evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. That's Kath over there, which you obviously can't see because she's scared of the camera, as are a lot of people. So don't blame her for that. Please do send her best wishes in the chat if you want to. It is, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Saturday. Saturday, the 14th of November 2020. And this year has just been one heck of a bumpy ride, hasn't it, so far? All the way from probably February, March, all the way up till today, things have been pretty tough for everyone. So obviously the title of this video, or stream rather, is trying to buy a £1,400 PC, which, yes, I guess is kind of first world problems, and I totally get that. Firstly, the PC itself isn't actually for me. This is one, eh?
It's the 14th.
Was it 14th today?
Don't know. Stoker said it's the 14th.
It's the 14th. Sorry if I got the date wrong. Anyway, the PC that I'm trying to build isn't actually for me. It's for a friend of the channel and wants a PC for Christmas or close to Christmas time. And they've tasked me with building it, and I thought it'd be great because I can do a build, do the review, etc., etc. Kill two birds with one stone. You know how it goes. It's YouTube life. But unfortunately, it's not all turning out to be plain sailing. And obviously, being that 2020 is 2020, yeah, it was never going to be plain sailing. And there's two key items on our build which are proving problematic. And I've got a sneaking suspicion they're going to be problematic for the foreseeable. So some compromises may have to be made. We are running very, very close towards the end of the year now. There's, what, 30, 40 days left of the year, about, roughly. So we haven't got a lot of time left. From what I've been hearing from some of my kind of semi-insider friends is that stocks are pretty much drying up. Container prices for shipping containers now, the actual cost of transporting items is going up nearly 50% over what it used to be. So that in itself is going to have a knock-on effect, or there will be some that will just say, hell, we can't make enough money on this, we just won't bother. We'll just hold on, weather the storm, see how things go. Obviously it may get to a point where they do have to start shipping stuff and then prices will get jacked. It's just, yeah, it's basically all round not good stuff. So these are the problems we're dealing with at the moment. There have been a few of you, subscribers and members of the Discord, who have managed to get their hands on some of these lucrative, lovely items, the new shiny stuff. And, well done to you. There have been those as well that have had to have pre-orders and cancelled pre-orders, or have had pre-orders cancelled for them because they've not had stock, or whatever the case may be. It's not great. So yes, compromises will potentially have to be made, which I don't want to do. I really want to go for some of this new stuff, try it out, see what it's like, but getting on your hands on it is, yeah, it is like trying to literally get hold of unicorn puke. Well, not that kind of unicorn puke, but you know what I mean. Real unicorn puke, the stuff that actually exists, which it doesn't. I'm digressing. Let's say hello to some of you in the chat. So, who have we got in with us tonight? We have got Dave Aitken, Angry Doge, Ghost Adder, Ivory Wolfman, Atom Marx. Have I said that right? I think I have. Ugly Bob's in the house, Paul Bakewell, JS 2019, Sky Stalker's in the house also, Harold's in the house, Click Tech Kev, hi Click Tech Kev, Waldo 135. Who else have we got? Am I missing anyone out? I think that is, oh, Glenn, of course, yeah. Scrolling through. And Gary's in the house as well. Muckless, Candy FN. Apologies if I've missed anyone's name out. I do apologise, I'm scrolling through. And Glenn's come straight in with the classic 420. Thank you very much for a super chat, Glenn. Glenn has sent us £4.20 and says first. He certainly is. Beat everyone else by a country mile. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel and don't know what the hell's going on, when we get a super chat, it triggers the IFTTT, which actually we'll talk more about that later. And it sets off the RGB light from the Hive system. It's running on a Hive plug, etc., etc. So yes, it sets that off. So it's a visual notification. And basically, you do get something for your money, other than to hear me waffle on like some kind of old prat. And also, we've got another one coming from Skystalker, who is putting 10 Canadian dollars and says last. Well, I certainly hope it's not. That would not be good, but thank you very much, Skystalker, also for your contribution. while we're on the subject of contributions, guys, I know it's tough times for everybody, and we're feeling it as much as anyone else. We do struggle, and I've still got to put food on the table, pay the bills, etc., etc. So if you do want to make a contribution to the channel, we have got a Discord, which you can join and become a member of, etc. Also, we've got a Patreon site, so you can go to patreon.com/MikesUnboxing, and if you want to help out the channel, you can place a pledge. There are some gifts that we often give to people in return for certain pledge levels, so these are kind of one-offs just to say thank you. So after a month of your active account or whatever and paying in, basically we'll send you a little bit of a gift just to say thank you very much, and in the hope that you'll carry on being a Patreon member. Anyway, with that shilling out of the way, let's get back into it. Harold says, "Oh, Mike, what was that like? Is it from Amazon?" Yeah, I actually did a whole video on that when I got it. Did the unboxing, all the kind of usual stuff, and also I think I did a video on how to set it up with IFTTT through the Hive setup. So if that is of interest to you, there is a video available which you can check out on the channel. Jad 2019 says, "Just join the Discord server." Thank you very much. And there's another super chat. Is that a belated one, or is that?
It's ClickTech.
Oh, it's not come up on my screen. Oh, there it is. ClickTech is save the day, sent us £2 UK and says, Sky was wrong, not the last. Thank you, Kev. Don't forget, everybody, ClickTech Kev has got his own YouTube channel, which I strongly encourage you to check out. Both myself and Kev cover very similar topics in products, and we give slightly different spins on things, so please feel free to go over. Kev's videos are actually a lot more professional than mine, so do check them out. They're very well polished and all that kind of stuff, so yeah, go and check them out. Ugly Bob's thrown £5 into the hat as well and says, "Shield circuits activate, lol." That is, we should actually have a button on the laptop for that. The SCA button, shield circuits activated. I like that. I might see if I can get a keyboard button made up especially for that. Thank you very much. All of you, do appreciate your helping us out. And YouTube thanks you as well. Irie Wolfman says, "Have you seen Seasonic's first case? If so, thoughts?" I gotta be honest, no, I haven't at the moment. I did see it come up on my feed, so I do need to check that one out.
Come on, what do you want?
Yeah, Skystalk says, "Kev's channel is awesome." Yes, I agree, it is.
Waldo lost his grandma.
Waldo, our condolences to you and your family. Buckley Bob says, "You can have that one, no copyright." Awesome. Nice one, Kev. Nice one. Kev's actually working on some Commodore 64 stuff. So if retro floats your boat and you were either alive in the 80s or you appreciate what happened in the 80s, then yeah, definitely subscribe to Kev's channel and watch out for that video. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. It will be. I think it will be. Trooper C says, "Hi Mike, I commented about my XFX 57XT. I'm not sure if you remember, but I do have an exciting update about it. It still hasn't fixed." Oh dear. Trooper C, I think it's actually, I'm not sure if you've got exactly the same model as me. I did a video this week about the XFX 5700XT, and actually we need to talk about that later as well, because that has actually been problematic this week, and not from FXX's side of things, more from AMD's side of things, weirdly. There's been some odd stuff going on with the drivers on there in regards to Adobe Premiere, which has been, yeah, rather concerning and a shame, a real shame. But anyway, we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Nick Momberg says, "Did you end up ordering some Snowman coolers?" No, we've seen a lot of coolers in the last few days, and actually, as I look to my left, you're right, there is over there a new 360mm AIO cooler from a company you would definitely not expect to see one from. And it's 360mm, it's got 3 addressable RGB fans, also an addressable RGB pump header, and it's actually got a digital readout for temperatures, etc. So yeah, pretty excited to see that one. Hence why, well, another reason why I want to get my hands on some processors at the moment. What is it at the moment? Processors are just, they're like rocking horse poop. You just cannot get one. Well, you can if you don't want something too kind of elaborate, let's say. So if you want to get like a Ryzen 3100, no problem. You can get that, and actually you can find some pretty decent deals, even as low as around about £85 at the moment on eBay and various other sites. 3100 is an excellent chip, don't get me wrong. I would quite happily put one in my, oh, actually there's one in the system behind me, so yes, I would quite happily use one. Great little chip. 3600s, still a little bit on the pricey side in some places. And anything above that, sort of 3800X, 3700X, 3900X, and a 3950. 3950 is still a crazy price. Am I right or am I wrong? For me, I think the 3950 is way too expensive for what it is, especially with the 5000 series being out. But being as you can't buy a 5000 series chip unless you trade in kind of a lung, a kidney, maybe a testicle as well, you ain't going to get one. They are, well, actually, let me know in the chat. Has any of you actually successfully managed to get one? I really wish I'd have put some kind of pre-order in. Not that many places were taking them, but you look on pretty much all of the UK sites at the moment, at least the ones with kind of reasonable pricing. Now, you can obviously pay scalper prices, and most of these processors are available if you're prepared to bend over backwards and be absolutely shafted. And I don't like that kind of thing happening. My bottom is my bottom, and I do not want anything in it or around it, let's just say. So I'm not paying those sort of prices. I'm not being bent over for it. No chance. Not going to happen. That's not my. That is not what the Mike's. Oh God, that is not what the Mike's Unboxing channel is all about. I'm not going to pay over the odds for something because it just makes no sense to me. Yes, I appreciate if you really need to and you've got to get a job done, or maybe you're spending someone else's money. Then fine, yeah, go for it, knock yourself out. But for me, it doesn't make sense. So I am trying to. Sorry, just looked at a comment from Ugly Bob. Yeah, it's all true. I'm trying to get this system built. I want to get it done in good time so that I can test it, benchmark it, give it a thorough soak test, because if someone's going to get it as a present, excuse me a second, the last thing that needs to happen is for them to get it, unpack it, fire it up, and to get some kind of blue screen or some kind of weird issue which was unforeseen. So trying to do as much testing, and rather than rushing it, I've worked in the PC industry over the years, and I know exactly what happens when you build a PC in a hurry, or maybe you just put it together and don't do stringent tests on it. If you just fire it up, yep, great, yeah, it's got a BIOS screen, they can install Windows fine, put the side panel back on, bullshit in the box, in the post. A couple of days later, hello Mike, yeah, hi, how you doing? This PC you sent me, yeah, I'm trying to install Windows and this blue screen in. Ugh. So you got to test these things. You can't just build a PC and expect everything to work, because generally it doesn't happen. We always get problems, NVIDIA driver problems, AMD driver problems with graphics cards, even just Windows not installing, it does happen. Pretty much most of us have had it happen at some stage or other, so you have to do testing. So I want to get these bits quickly. I need to get them now, so I've got at least a week really to do a thorough soak test and make sure it's stable before it gets packed off, which is another couple of days. And then we're into kind of the start of December. It's not ideal situation. Dear. Yeah, so we don't like this. So anyway, I've put a link in the video description so you can see the PC part picker list. So what I figured I'll do is let's have a quick look now, and I'll go through the specs of the PC which I'm kind of wanting to build. And you guys can possibly make some suggestions and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know what is going on with YouTube Studio at the moment. It says I'm buffering. Am I buffering?
It's not on there, but on my phone, it just keeps on.
There are some weird. Is the stream okay, everybody? Ultimate Tech Hub says yes. Always test a new build all the way through Windows install. It just makes sense. It totally does. It totally does. You've got to do it. Anyway. Right, let's go to my PC.
Just said, did anyone buy Windows 10 from?
They're saying it's all good. Okay, I can live with that.
From eBay. I got one today. It's an Enterprise Edition. Who uses that one? I didn't know if you wanted to say.
Which button is it for screen recording? I can never remember.
I didn't know if you want to say please. CD keys.
Premium CD keys. Don't buy keys off eBay. Buy them from premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing. And then look at Windows Desktop. There we go. At last. God, I am semi-professional, you do realise this. Anyway, so here's my parts save list. If you want to join along or maybe edit this list at your own leisure, you can do. The link's in the description. But this is the £1,400 PC you probably can't buy. And, well, looking at the list, a quick overview, you can kind of understand where I'm coming from with this. So, first of all, we've got our AMD Ryzen 5 5600X, 3.7 GHz, 6-core, 12-thread processor. At the moment, round about the best price you can get for it is about £311. There we go. I can't remember who that's from. I got a feeling that was from Scan. They possibly had it in stock. Let's have a quick gander at that and see what stock availability is like. Now, clearly this is Saturday, so yeah, stock levels may not be updated. And yeah, we've got a pre-order situation there. And actually, we have got a super chat come in, so I suppose I should acknowledge that. And there you go, got your RGB moment. And who is that from? Rory O'Donnell sent €10. Nice one, Rory, appreciate that. David Aiken, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm not going to read out the rest of that because that would be potentially bad. So, where are we? I am losing my actual mind. I should have these keys memorised. I got it written out there. I could just press that. There we go. What a dipstick. Okay, so the first link we've gone to, Overclockers UK. Currently, this is on pre-order. And as you can see there, UK and Ireland only due to high demand. So the chances of getting that, yeah, it's not looking good, is it? So let's see where else. See if we can see anyone else. So there must be other sites. So box.co.uk, out of stock. CCL, out of stock. More Computers, out of stock. Overclockers UK, pre-order. Newegg, in stock. But look at the price. Now, I'm pretty sure if I click on that, it's going to end up being a lot more expensive. So we should be around about the £280 mark. And boom, there we go. Newegg, currently sold out. So basically, yeah, we're screwed. We are so screwed. So let's close that down. So yes, that processor isn't going to happen. So I hear what you're probably thinking already. Why not just swap it out for something else? Which, yes, I could do. Now, realistically, I could swap it out for a Ryzen 7 3700X, or maybe even a 3800X with a little bit of tweaking. But this PC is supposedly pretty much predominantly going to be for games. And as most of you will know, the Ryzen 5 5600X is an absolute monster when it comes to gaming. So swapping it out for a 12-thread or 12-core processor doesn't make a great deal of sense. Yes, the gigahertz are going to be a little bit higher, but because this is Zen 3, not Zen 2, this is the better processor. So that is the first of our problems. The 5600X is basically going to be a no-go. Now, if we go back to the customer and turn around and say, well, okay, we can't get that one, but maybe we could squeeze in a 5900X or maybe a 5800X. That is a big jump in price. And I'm pretty much guaranteed that we're going to be in exactly the same position. So just for argument's sake, let's go through the motions and see what it's got. So again, we've got exactly the same deal. Box are coming in 419 out of stock. More Computers out of stock. CCL out of stock. Overclockers UK pre-order, so yeah, out of stock. And Newegg again with their BS. Just for the giggles, let's have a look and see if it is actually in stock. Currently sold out. Boom, there we go. As if anyone was expecting anything less. So that screws us for the 5800X. So let's go and do something crazy and jump right away up to the 5900. I kind of know what's going to happen here. It's not. I'm not even going to bother clicking on Newegg because it's pointless. So out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. Pre-order again. So we're back to square one. We've got nothing, and
Stock at the bottom.
Realistically, the Ryzen 9 5950 is going to be way too expensive. And oh, surprise, surprise, Newegg got it in stock, but they haven't. They're buying not to. Let's have a look. It's going to be out of stock. Yeah, currently sold out. So PC Part Picker, you are a absolute sack of nonsense. Look at Aria PC, £1,200. That is basically £200 shy of our entire budget. So this looks like this processor isn't going to happen. So it's going to come down to a compromise. So realistically, the Ryzen 7 3700X at £278.99 is looking like a very likely substitute. It's unlikely, I would think, that the customer is going to stump up the extra money to go to the 3900X, which I would prefer to use if I'm completely honest. But again, the Ryzen 7 3700X is certainly no slouch. And let's see what stock availability is like. So Amazon have got it, AWDIT have got it, Laptops Direct have got it, Aria PC have got it, CCL have got it. Basically, it's in stock. And the reason why it is in stock is because when you've got a 5600X, which is a considerably better chip in pretty much most regards, at a very similar price point, nobody in their right mind are going to buy these chips, which is why they're all in stock.
2700X is going for half price on Amazon, Harold said.
Yeah, the 2700X is a fantastic way of describing what is going on at the moment. The 2700X is a great all-round processor, extremely good. But it is almost half the price of what it is normally. It's like £150 for a 2700X. But when you're building a new PC for someone, and they're seeing all this stuff in the media about the latest and greatest Zen 3 and how AMD are handing Intel's butt to them, you don't want to be putting in something which is like 2-3 years old, because it's not good. And especially when you're spending like 4-figure sums on a PC, it makes no sense at all. So realistically, I can see us going with the Ryzen 7 3700X. I think that's... So we're going to add that to the list. So this makes things a little bit more doable.
Look at the comments.
Kath says I got to look at the comments. So
what they think.
let's go number 2. So let's have a look at your comments, see what you guys have been saying. So Ryzen 7 2700X is good value at the moment, says Markovsky. Yeah, everyone's saying 3900X, 3900X. The 3900X is really the go-to chip. Those extra cores and extra threads. Yeah, it does. It looks sexy on paper as well. 3900X, 12 cores, 24 threads. It does look good. For gaming, whether there's a great deal of difference between that and maybe the 3600X is a little bit of a bone of contention. I suppose you could say now that the PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox, the new one, are out, and they're heavily threaded because obviously they're using this AMD silicon. So we can pretty much guarantee that games are going to start becoming more and more reliant on extra threads as the games are ported from the consoles to the PC and from the PC to the console, vice versa. So extra threads, extra cores are going to become one of those things which are a requirement. But having said that, the 5600X with 6 cores, 12 threads is not exactly core shy. 6 cores is still a decent number. If you look at the Steam user kind of system thing, where it tells you how many threads most people have got, pretty much everyone is still on 4 cores, 8 threads, or 4 cores, 4 threads in some cases. So that is the kind of where majority of people are at. I know it's a very wide gamut of people from different countries, regions, etc. So you have to take that into consideration. Also, a lot of it does seem to be laptops as well. So majority of laptops are going to be 4 core. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, it's not a good thing. What else? Someone else. I did notice someone there just saying about it going Intel, the 10600. That has crossed my mind. That has actually crossed my mind. Tristan G says that he's got a 3900X CPU as a killer, not upgrading anytime soon. Yes, yeah, very good. Matthew Day says the 3800X is a decent price on eBay now. So yeah, that is 3700X, 3800X. Generally, at the moment, they tend to be around about sort of £15–20 between them. So I guess it probably would make sense to up it slightly to a 3800X. If only for the extra, what was it, 100 megahertz boost. It's still a boost, but it's potentially could be worth it. And also, it's a higher number. So higher numbers are better, right? And ultimately, the customer, that's where it comes down to. That's the problem for me. Where you're building for somebody else, the customer expects you in your position of kind of being a person of knowledge or technical ability to guide them and to choose the best value for money parts that they can get for the money. So for spending an extra £25 for 100 megahertz, which you could easily overclock the other chip to, is kind of, it's one of those things that you'd almost have to justify in advance. Say, well, look, 3700X is available. It is £280 for argument's sake. We've got the 3800X, which is a slight bit faster, and it's about 30 quid more, 20, 30 quid more. Are you okay with that? I suppose you could explain that. Whereas if you didn't explain it beforehand and they got it and then turned around and said, why have you charged me 30 quid for an extra 100 megahertz on this processor? You'd have to then say, well, I thought it was for the best, rather than kind of preempting them. And chances are they're never, ever going to ask that question. But if you've got that in the back of your mind and you're thinking about it, you're doing a good thing for yourself and the customer, ultimately. I hope that makes sense. Ivor Wolfman says, anybody want to buy an A8 7600? Probably get 5p for it. I'd give you 10p for it, at least. So that is the first of our problems, 5000 series CPUs from AMD. So let's go back over to the PC part picker and let's look at some of our other potential issues. So motherboard wise, I haven't gone all out on the motherboard. I've gone with ASRock B550M Pro 4. That actually is a mistake. That should be the full-size version, so I'll have to change that later. The full-size version is a little bit more expensive, but not a great deal. Actually, let's change that now, because I have made a error right there.
Ugly Bob's out, bidded you 20p.
Oh, Bob. So PC part picker, for those of you who haven't used it before, this is a pretty cool site. So you can use it to select parts, and there's certain people on our Discord who could certainly learn. What the hell? Oh, I don't want mailing rebates. I want ASRock. Why does it not show me the boards now? Manufacturer ASRock, form factor ATX. Right. If you want to do something, do it yourself, as they often say. So where are we? B550. Actually, let's do. Why is that not doing it? So let's say 550.
User error.
Oh, because I didn't do a capital, I expect. Oh, I just realised I'm using the number pad. That's probably going to mess things up. Oh dear. What a dipstick. Right, there we go, 550s, so I don't know what happened there. Where are we? Come on, find the Pro 4. I've been on this site so much today, it's just been ridiculous. Right, let's go with the Phantom Gaming. Oh no, that's the... Why is it showing... Why is there no ATX boards? M4. Oh. What is going on? Oh. There's something very strange going on with PC part picker right now. Right, let's just try ASRock. Why are these all micro boards? I don't get why it's only showing me micro ATX. Okay, let's go back to my my original build. What is going on? Is it because the case? Shouldn't be. Ah, dear, let's get back to my save parts lists. Right, so no, ATX case. Was I in the wrong thing altogether? Yeah, that's the board I was going with. Right, excuse me, I'm being an idiot. I must have gone into the wrong thing by mistake. So there's the processor. Let's change that while we're still at it. Jeez. Okay, so let's get rid of the... Let's put the 3800X in. Where is it? 3800X. Let's add that. Okay, so the cooler, I went with the Gelid, the Phantom.
We're liking Gelid at the moment.
For any reason being that the person who wants the PC actually watched the video and said, I love the look of that cooler, can you use one of those? It's like, well, yeah, no reason why not. Never argue with a customer. The customer's always right. Now, why is it... This has gone into another build now. What is going on with PC Part Picker? Jeez. Or is it me being slightly idiotic? Right, edit details. Edit part list, that's the one we want. Stroof. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a long day today. I've been on here for more hours than I care to even mention. See, why does it come out with no price now on that? Oh, is it because I'm in America? No, I'm in the United Kingdom. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. My brain is not working. Right. This is looking better. So we've got a Ryzen 7 3800X sorted. We'll be able to get that easily. The cooler, yes, no problem. The motherboard is the MSI B550-A Pro. I was considering the Tomahawk over this, but essentially there's not really a great deal between them. They don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles that the Tomahawk has. So I figured this would be a very, very good replacement and is about £30 cheaper. So we've saved a little bit of money. It's actually a really nice looking board. I really like the look of this one. I don't know why, but I kind of like the cutout on the side there. I don't know why it exists, but I kind of like it. So anyway, that is the board, MSI board. So we're happy with that. Memory-wise, Team T-Force Dark, again, not RGB, but it's DDR4 3600, which is the sweet spot for the Infinity Fabric with this processor and also the 5000 series, so that's all good. I was trying to get this down to CL16, but for the price, it just wasn't worth paying the extra money for it. Could have gone with DDR4 3200, CL16. It's, yeah, more of a numbers game on this. DDR4 3600 on paper looks better and it's basically a good price, so happy with that. Storage wise, gone with a combination, so one of which is going to be the main system drive, so could be a toss up between the two. Got a Western Digital Blue 1TB and also Silicon Power A60 1TB. I would imagine the A60 is probably going to end up being the system drive and the Western Digital can be the storage drive. Again, prices do fluctuate. Newegg was actually a weird price on there. Actually, from Silicon Power's own site, it's about £10–15 cheaper. So use that as reference more so than the actual real price. So this gets us down to some of our other semi-problematic items. These last three. So
That's why you're not choosing an X570.
I'm not choosing an X570 because there isn't really the need. We don't have that many PCI Express 4 parts. It's essentially an expense. The X570 is a better chipset in general, but the B550s actually have come very, very close. And for the money, we can save about £50 by going with the slightly lesser board, which is relatively the same. Yes, Kath?
Who else is getting more to board? Better audio.
The mortar board was kind of in the peripheral, but the mortar board is a Micro ATX, which is going to look a bit weird in the case that we've chosen. I'll say we've chosen, that I've been told I have to use. It was a toss-up between the Landcool 2 and the 215. Pricing-wise, there's about £30 between them, roughly. So we did go with the slightly cheaper option of the Landcool. And actually, because I've got pretty good experience with the Landcool with regard to me using the GameMax F15, which this chassis is basically, give or take, exactly the same. Lanley have done a good job on this, to be fair. They do miss out on a single RGB fan on the rear, but you do get what I consider to be a better fan controller, etc. And also I do like the Lanley badge on the front that lights up RGB as well. It's just one of those nice little touches. Again, cases are a very, yes, you can get it in white as well. But this was kind of, from pictures that was emailed to me, this was like, I quite like the look of this, which was the F15 and also this one. So they like the 200mm style fans on the front. The thermal take, I think it was the thermal take View, one of those I think that I reviewed a while back. That was also on the list as well, but we kind of decided against it due to the price and the glass on the front, etc. for cooling, what have you. Anyway, I think it's a really nice looking case. Well, I would, because I've got the F15. So that was that. Power supply wise, we've gone with the Seasonic Focus 750 watt, which is pretty much a sweet spot for this with the RTX 3070. It's a gold, fully modular, so it's a very, very nice high quality power supply. And I don't think you can find that there's anybody who ever regretted buying a Seasonic power supply. Now, I did make suggestions for slightly cheaper options, but they were pretty adamant. I think they'd seen a lot of videos from, oh God, what's his name? The channel that used to have Bryony on it. What is the channel? I can't think what they're called now. With the bald guy. No, not me, the other bald guy. Oh my God, I can't believe I cannot think of their name. Someone's going to have to let me know in the comments section now. Kit Guru Tech, that was it, sorry, yeah. So obviously Kit Guru Tech are heavily sponsored by Seasonic and they have their stuff on everything. And I guess it's stuck. But essentially, Seasonic power supplies are fantastic. There's no two ways about it. And actually, stock-wise, is not too bad. There's a couple of places out of stock, so power supplies are getting scarce, especially popular ones, such as the EVGAs and stuff like that. So we may end up getting this from Amazon and paying a little bit more for it. CCL are out of stock currently. Scan have got it in stock, so that's a possibility also. Although I am very much liking the warranty side of things with Amazon. It's a lot easier to deal with Amazon returns rather than people like Scan, overclockers, etc. They'll do their own good job, don't get me wrong. Just, yeah, I do prefer to work with Amazon. So that takes us to our graphics card. Now the graphics card, they want a 3070. So when it comes to 3070s, there are a few options available. Now obviously the Founders one is a sexy looking card. It's very, very different. It says what it is. Immediately when you look inside the PC, you pretty much know it's something new and something special. And obviously, performance-wise, the Founders editions, because of the modifications made to the PCB and the build quality, etc., 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 it's a very, very good card. But also, it is like unicorns. It's very difficult to get hold of. So price-wise, basically no one is showing any stock. So that leaves me with, yeah, a few potential decisions to make. So if we look at video cards, and we narrow down our search for a 3070, which hopefully it will work this time. And let's sort by price because, well, that's the way we roll. So the first option is the Zotac Gaming Twin Edge OC. Now, this is a pretty decent site to compare some of the clocks with. So we've got our core clocks and we've got our boost clocks. So most of the cards towards the lower end of the spectrum are going to be boosting up to 1755. We know this. Mid-range cards, 1785 or so, maybe a little bit lower than that, like the 1725s. If you go for a higher end card, then 18, 15, I think pretty much, unless you start spending some serious cash, is going to be, yeah, it's going to be pretty much it. And really, why would you spend tons more money? So we've got a very, very short range here of what is actually available, judging by the prices here. So, and they do start to jack up quite a lot, especially for these aftermarket parts. Now, I did consider initially the MSI Ventus, purely because of the fact we've got an MSI motherboard in there. MSI motherboard, MSI graphics card. If there's going to be any RGB or any of that shenanigans, then it's easier to synchronize it all together, although this card doesn't have any RGB, so that kind of omits that from the whole thing. But again, the only place that's got it in stock is amazon.co.uk at just over £1,000. So that puts it way out of the question. Overclockers at $559, which is kind of a little bit jacked up price, but not entirely bad. Again, pre-order. And CCL at $550 out of stock. So
says by RT 5700 XT.
Oh crap, I've done the button again. I've got to stop using my keyboard on my number pad. 3070. So going back, the Asus Dual excuse me. The Asus Dual is one that I know very, very little of. eBuyer do actually have it in stock, at least allegedly. Let's see if that is actually true. Yeah, whatever. Coming soon. So no, we've struck out on that one. And I think it's going to be pretty much the same. We could probably go through the entire list of the 3070s. Why does it keep on resetting that? Probably find the same thing. Now, one that did strike me as being a nice looking card for the money, and actually not entirely bog standard, is the Inno3D iChill X3. Also got the X4 as well. But the X3, they don't actually show images of it there. And oh no, pre-order, we're screwed. We are so screwed. I think it's going to be problematic no matter which way you look at it. We may get lucky, and on Monday or something, when stock levels are updated and people get deliveries in, or maybe even Tuesday, I have left some emails with various companies or requests. So if anything comes in, then obviously we can take a look. The PNY Uprising actually doesn't look to be a bad card, from what I can tell. Nice big fans, keeping it nice and cool. But otherwise, yeah. The Zotac Gaming Twin Edge, for me, seems a little bit on the pricey side. And again, we're looking at a pre-order situation. So, if we're looking to spend in the region of about £500 on a graphics card, this is where it's going to start getting a little bit on the weird side. So, let's trim our... Actually, let's go from about 450. Oh, sorry, let's go from 400. And we'll go up to about, don't know if we can get that close. Come on. Let's say 571-ish. Let's see where this leaves us. So, options-wise, we've got 2060s, can't do a 2060. 930, that's definitely not going to happen. Yeah, some of these are ridiculous. So realistically, we're looking at kind of like RX 5700 XT, which actually would be a pretty good pairing. But really, I think it's going to have to be an NVIDIA card. So 2070 isn't particularly good value for money, I don't think, for around that sort of money, especially when you know you could have spent an extra £100 and got something which is considerably faster. And this is where a lot of us are at the moment, where, especially coming up to Christmas, maybe you're thinking of an upgrade and maybe a new graphics card. It's extremely difficult to do. And just look at these prices, nearly £500. Like the MSI Ventus OC was something which I did consider, but again, £480 for a 2070 Super when in the back of your mind you know that the...
You know you've bought cars for less than that.
Yeah, I've bought cars for less than that, and also the fact that you could get the Founders Edition, if it was available, for £20 more, which is going to be considerably faster. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. So at that point then, you consider your other option is, do you just go for a very, very cheap card, something like, let's clear those filters. So if we went for maybe 1660 Super, which we can spend about £200 on, which actually will still play games very, very well. As far as I know, we are going to be limited to 1440p anyway. So for 1080p and 1440p in most games, these are going to do absolutely fine. And again, £200 is, you do get a lot of bang for your buck. Also, we could go with the Ventus, or maybe even go upwards a little bit, maybe go with a Zotac possibly. What's up, Kath?
Matthew Day said as part picker rescan 609 is now the cheapest 3070 it's showing.
Oh, right, okay. Thank you, Matthew. Sorry, the cogs in my brain were actually spinning then. Full speed ahead.
I could always hear it like a hard drive.
With the 1660 Super, as you start going up through the more expensive cards, the nicer cards, when you start getting to close to that £300 mark, you don't get a third more performance for spending a third more money. It's as simple as that. You just don't, it doesn't happen. So let's see, for instance, if this is actually available, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be in stock in most places. So yeah, CCL, Courage PC Broad, those are the two best prices. So let's see if it is actually available at CCL.
Kieran said get a GT 710.
So there we go, a GT 710, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Best card ever.
Get it, nice and cheap. So we could put that in there, but then it's kind of, I wouldn't say spending bad money, because obviously it gets the job done, and it's a pretty decent looking card. It's not got any real inherent faults with it. Again, it's MSI, so it's working with an MSI motherboard, so you'd expect some level of compatibility. Being that it's an NVIDIA card, it's going to be better for things like streaming and also for video editing, should that ever come into the question. I'd never asked the question, actually, is the PC going to be used for video editing? Because I'm pretty sure I know the person well enough to say that they possibly won't, but you never know. It probably was worth asking that question. But for £200, it's either this, really, or maybe like the 5600, which I'm slightly hesitant to suggest, but we can get some reasonably good pricing. You do spend a little bit more money, it's a little bit quicker. Again, we're getting towards that £300 mark again, which is kind of a little bit scary. And also when it comes to the new AMD cards coming out very shortly, which inevitably they will, in the next, we've got another 2 weeks, I think it is, until they actually hit the shops. It might even be a week now. I think it's a week. So we've got a week until the AMD cards potentially are available, which could change things again. Whether or not they're going to be available for any length of time, who knows? We may end up going down that AMD route, but at the moment it's been difficult for me to do it. I was requested for a 3070, that was one of the stipulations for the build. So it just leaves me in a whole... Actually, I'm getting palpitations just thinking about this whole thing right now. It's not a good... Yeah, I am going to have to rub my Q-Link, and that is not code, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so that is the build. That is the rough price of it as we stand, around about £1,400. And I could, I suppose, get a power supply in, get the case, get the drives, get the motherboard, get the processor, and maybe just hang fire on the graphics card. But then you've got this half-built PC, which is someone else's money tied up. It's just not a very good place to be. I don't necessarily want those bits hanging around. And of course, you know what's going to happen. You go and buy these bits on Monday morning when the shops are open or whatever, or online stores open. And you can guarantee we've got Black Friday coming in a very, very short amount of time. So we're going to start seeing some of the prices fall. So by the time the graphics cards are actually available, then these prices could have dropped again. So do you hold on and wait 2 weeks, see what happens, potentially watch prices increase, as I'm kind of expecting they will do. I don't envisage any real massive deals on Black Friday because a lot of this stuff is so limited in stock anyway. There's no need for them to reduce it because they're selling it at the right prices. Things that I would expect to see reduced would be things like solid state stuff. So any of your drives, memory is plentiful at the moment. There's a glut of it on the market, so it's really easy to get hold of. So I do envisage some price reductions there. Cases as well, to some extent, are becoming a little bit more available now. I don't envisage this one going down in price much, although the Lancool Mesh 2, which is a little bit dearer, if that would drop, then that might make a better choice for the build. But yeah, power supply potentially could go up in price. They are limited stocks. So yeah, it's leaving me in a predicament where I don't particularly want to be. So let's take a look at your comments and see what you guys have been thinking about it all. So there you go. You can appreciate where I'm coming from with this, can't you? I'm not just making up this kind of drama in my head. This is real. I'm in the UK, so I can't buy things from the US, etc., where there does appear to be seemingly better stocks. We could obviously go on Amazon US, but then you pay customs tax and charges, so it does end up being dearer because you pay customs on each individual item rather than the bulk of it. So yeah, it can be bad. And yeah, Skystalker says their Black Friday will be a bust, just like Amazon days. I think they will be. The days of, I don't think there's been a good, for me personally, a good Amazon Prime Day.
Since about 2015.
2015, maybe 2014. I think when there was a time when I bought some Logitech cameras for a really good price, the C920, which is above me, which I think I paid about £20 for on a special deal, and that was good. That was a really good price. And also I think I bought some HyperX RAM, which again was at a very good price. Are you dancing, Kath, or do you need a toilet?
Yes, dancing.
Oh, she's dancing to the RGB. Good one. Tristan G is throwing $2 in the hat. Thank you very much, Tristan. Appreciate that. And obviously you get a bit of RGB and you get to see Kath dance. Well, you don't. But if you get a real close-up, zoom in on my eyeballs, you might see a reflection. Don't zoom in on my eyeballs. My eyeballs are... do you know what? Having to build this PC, I am genuinely losing sleep over it.
What are you going to say, hair?
I'm losing hair as well, obviously, but I am losing sleep over it. It's kind of... Last night I went to bed a little bit late anyway, and I think it was about 3 o'clock this morning. I was still there, kind of cradling my pillow for dear life, and just computing all these different options of PC parts. And it's like, oh God, I could put a cooler in there, a different cooler. Is it going to be too big? Where am I going to get a graphics card from? Where can I get a graphics card? And these things are going around my head at night, and it's not good.
What about your £11 projector, Captain said?
And the £11 projector, that was a good deal. Yeah, let's not...
that was right on midnight.
Yeah, Kieran said that. Don't forget your £10 projector. That was...
that was right on midnight, and you had big expectations. We were let down the next
day. I was expecting that to be cancelled, but it wasn't. It was good.
That to be the start of many. And there was no other deals.
Jack 4 or Jack IV says, could I recommend the Arctic eSport 34 for the cooler? Well, you could. The Arctic eSport 34 doesn't perform as well as the Phantom Black, and is actually more expensive. So yes, I could do that, and I actually got one. I could put it in there, but I don't have it. Thank you, Ugly Bob. She certainly is. The dancing coffin queen, young and free. Well,
did actually...
she's not free, she's quite expensive. High maintenance.
Ah.
She's not.
You did actually make a video of me on my poll, didn't you, to that song?
I think I did, actually.
No.
Kieran Axon says, Phantom Black is a stunning cooler anyway. Erin has just asked, which mouse is that? This is, actually, I really like this mouse. This is the Rio Toro, the Aurochs, which actually, the Aurochs Black Prism. Now, when this came out, when I did the review, I'm almost certain that this was like 45 quid. And at the time I was like, well, it's a lot of money, but it's actually a really nice mouse. It's very strong, firm, well made. It's basically made of metal. The outer frame is made of metal and there's plastic sides. But it's a really nice mouse. I like the grip personally, and it's got a little stealthy button on the side. So being a left-hander, this is actually really nice to use. I should use it more actually, but I've got this weird fetish thing. So if I've got an MSI motherboard, I'll try and use MSI keyboard and mouse, much like the one behind me. If, like my other PC over there, I've got the GameMax F15 case, I use the GameMax Strike keyboard and mouse combo, trying to keep it all tied in together. I don't know why, it makes no sense at all, to be completely honest with you, but I suppose in my logical mind is because I put the boxes for the stuff that I'm using all inside the case box. So when I'm actually looking for the boxes for stuff, if I think, oh, I need GameMax, I go to the GameMax box. It's a bit bizarre. I used to do it before. I used to get like Microsoft keyboard and mouse. I'd always have a Microsoft keyboard and mouse combo. Or Logitech, I'd have the wireless combo. I guess a lot of people do it. They do like to have their peripherals matching, which makes sense. But anyway, this, I'm off topic completely. The Realtor Aurochs, I'm pretty sure this is about 20 quid now. Which actually, considering it's got one of those, I have to double check this now about the sensor. Does it say on the side? It does, but I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't see that.
Reread it.
It's got a good sensor, basically. Check out the review. I did a review of it ages ago. But yeah, I really like it. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit wider.
What is it?
I like to use a larger mouse. I've got the Corsair, the M55 RGB, which is a very similar design, but a little bit smaller. Kath's using it at the moment, and it's okay. It's great, but for me, I like a slightly wider mouse.
What's your mouse?
This is the Realtor Aurochs in black. Kath will find some. Oh, Ugly Bob says, yeah, about 20 to 23 quid. David Aiken says, that's why you flogged the Corsair case then, couldn't handle the commitment to the pricey RGB. I have actually got the Corsair PC under the desk at the moment, and it was potentially going to make a reappearance because I thought, strangely, that I had a problem with my MSI motherboard, which actually is ironic because a lot of people have messaged me, especially the review for that. That was the B550M VDH Pro Wi-Fi board, and everyone's like, but that's, have you found any problems with it because the USBs don't work? And actually, recently I've been firing the PC up, it's all lit up, and then, oh, cheers Glenn. Then all of a sudden the keyboard and mouse would go turn off the lights and the PC would restart itself even after I'd logged in. So there's definitely something weird going on. So I turned off fast boot, which I recommend most of you do, and touch wood, since I've disabled fast boot in Windows, it's been absolutely perfect and it hasn't crashed or done anything weird. So I'm very, very happy about that. Which is actually unfortunate because I have raised an RMA with box.co.uk to send the board back, so I must contact them on Monday and say I think I've figured out the problem. And possibly make a video on it. And we've got another super chat come in. This RGB bulb is going to destroy itself soon. Luckily it's LED lights, so they do last a long time. But that's from David Aiken, and he's thrown £10 into the hat and says, a £5 each from me and Erin. XO, 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 XO. She's had too much wine. Dave's in tonight then. Oh, actually, Erin, yes. Erin was not feeling well. She was dealing with the human malware. And hopefully, touch wood, you're completely, well, feeling much better now. If you're drinking wine, you must be feeling better, or you're drowning your sorrows. Who knows? But from me and Kath, hopefully you're feeling much better. And thank you for the super chat. Where was I getting to? David Aiken says, no surprises where half that was from. Markovsky says, fast boot in Windows 10 is the opposite of fast boot. It is. It's, I don't understand why fast boot is still a thing in Windows. I don't think it makes sense for anyone to have it enabled. It's just a pain in the ass. It really is. So anyway, yeah, I've disabled it, and yeah, touch wood, the PC is running much, much better.
Rebecca Bolt says, When would they be getting their pre-ordered R5 5600X from Overclockers?
I don't know actually. From Overclockers, if you've pre-ordered a chip from Overclockers, I don't know. I think their waiting list is very long, and I think with most people, most manufacturers, they've taken a load of pre-orders, and the pre-orders have gone over and above their stock allocations. So even if you've pre-ordered it, you may not get it on the first batch. Now, I'm not saying that is the case for everybody. This is just kind of what I'm hearing, but the stock allocations of the 5000 series processors are extremely low. Most, if not, well, a large bulk of the stock has gone to SIs, like Dell, those kind of things, like system integrators. So most of the stock has gone to them. AMD have worked hard to get their processors back into the mainstream for the likes of Dell, HP, etc. So they don't want the system integrators to have problems with people who've ordered PCs and then turn around and say you can't have it. So I am actually, oh, I got eyelash. I am actually almost considering with the PC build is to put it back to the customer and say, you might actually be better off going through someone like HP and getting like an Omen PC, or maybe one of the kind of like the boutique system builders like Corsair or whatever. I don't want to do that, but I don't also want to have the customer disappointed. So,
and you need to be these things.
Yes. Soy Unplanto says you are bold twice.
Go up a little bit, Mark Point.
I have actually realised that I do have mirrors.
You do use Scalp and Shoulders.
I do use Scalp and Shoulders shampoo, and also I do have a head shaving shaver. So it's not really a surprise that I'm bald. But thanks for noticing. It proves that you're awake. Well done. Congratulations.
Mark Point.
Mark Point. Could use your help with some things like maintenance, upgrading, wiring. Not right now, but for future. Yeah, sure, Mark. No worries. We've got a Discord. Feel free to join us on there. You get loads of help and tips there. We can certainly do that. Yeah, Matthew Day actually, yeah, possibly use fast boot if you still boot from a spinning disk. In that case, it would actually make some sense. I don't know whether fast boot with SSDs or NVMEs, the problem is caused by it's actually too fast, if that even makes a sense, because it doesn't load things properly. I don't know. Dave Bell says Adamant IT has a spare 3070 he may part with. I may well just ask for that. Rebecca Bolt says I got my 3070 from Scan. Awesome. I thought I saw someone say something about a mouse mat. No, have I missed that altogether?
What was that? Sorry, about a mouse mat? I don't know.
So I was just looking at Dave Aitken's other comment saying, Erin's making a strong recovery. Cheers. Wine is the new vaccine we should all be signing up to. It's not a bad idea. Actually, yeah, this cherry cola could certainly do with something a little bit stronger in it. Maybe later.
Mark Point asked, ask Son how to use Discord. Do you want to?
How to use Discord. Actually, our Discord has been made a lot easier to use now. So if you've got PC problems or you just want to join our Discord crew, be a part of our little family, you can go over to Discord, install the app on your phone or your PC. It's very easy to do. Just type in Discord in Google, you'll pretty much find it. Create yourself an account, and then on any of our videos or any of our kind of social media stuff, just look at the link for Discord. That is basically an invite. So you click on the invite, you'll be greeted by the screen with our Mike's Unboxing page, and basically there's two options, one of which is you can click on it to view some of our affiliate pages or prize winner pages, which are open to everybody. But if you want to join the actual Discord itself and get involved with the chat and kind of collaborate and communicate and maybe stream some of your stuff or post pictures, etc., then click on the top one and there's a drop down box. You can read the rules of our Discord, which are very straightforward and are basically there to protect both you guys and us as well from any kind of negativity and stuff like that, which we obviously don't want. So read the rules. Once you've agreed to them, just go to the bottom. There's a little smiley face or a hand. I can't remember which one I put in there now. But if you click on that, that is basically you digitally signing the agreement to say that you agree to the rules. And yeah, you will respect our authority.
That's what Dave Aiken.
Thank you, Dave. And yeah, essentially, once you do that, then all of the extra rooms and channels that are available on our Discord will become available on the left-hand side in the pane. That is on PC. If you're on the desk, if you're on mobile, I think it looks a little bit different, but yeah, it's relatively straightforward to do. Skystalker says, Kath Churchill, that was a hint, Kath. He wants booze. She's gone in the kitchen.
Sorry?
Don't be. Dun dun dun! Captain Morgan's original spiced rum. Yeah, Dave Aiken, as he says there, join the Discord. It's a great community as long as you respect our authority. Otherwise, Cartman will kick you. Booze and keys. Yes. Who's tried Cinebench R23 yet?
23.
Yeah, R23. Govind, I'm gonna struggle with this now. In case you're not aware, Indian, or yeah, it's not my native thing. So, Govind Dalal, hopefully I pronounced that right, says please give a shout out to Gunzi Inu Forever, OP. Love from India. Oh, lots of love right back at you. Mark Point says, I think I'll give it a try. Ugly Bob says, get some rum inside you, yes, salty landlubber. David Aiken, go hard or go home. Mike, what are you drinking? Tonight we're drinking Captain Morgan's original spiced gold. It's golden colour. I do like this stuff, it's really good.
You can breathe fire, can't you, with it?
Good stuff. Tristan G says, Mike's unboxing reviews now too. After a drink or two, time to try Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Yeah, that is not a bad idea. ClickTech Kev says, a hoodie skinhead drinking rum from a bottle. Yep, must be from Bristol. He drinks like a pirate. David Aiken says, Mike's first stream sponsor. That would be good. There's a cat. Skystalk says new Cinebench, not yet. I don't want to be depressed. Billy K kicks my bum. We have got some, yeah, we have got some very, very serious Discord users who've got incredibly powerful systems. So I actually don't like posting my Cinebench results either, because it does. That is our cat. His name is Flame. Flame, look at the camera. Oh, he's lovely. Aren't you?
Sit there. Okay.
Yeah, you can just sit there. You can be the cat cam. Actually, we can have cat cam.
Make sure it's not me.
Oh no, we can't. No, that's alcohol cam.
You could be what's that? He's looking at my screen.
You're on the telly.
Yes.
On telly. Look. No, look over there.
Flame. You don't want to look.
He looks so sad, doesn't he?
He's jealous.
Get out here, you ginger. Oh dear.
You want to sit on my lap?
Da-da-da-da. Ugly Bob. Psst, 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 psst. He can't hear you.
That's why he wasn't looking at us.
Oh dear. Ugly Bob says he's looking into my soul. Steve Simmons says, built my first PC this time last year when I started watching, thinking about doing another one. You should, definitely. Markovsky says, I think what I've gathered from this is don't buy anything now, wait till the sales. Now actually funny you should say that because I did a video probably, I think it was when the 5600, the 5000 series was launched. And I did a video saying basically don't buy them. I think I probably did the same for the 3600s as well. And it is always the case. We get kind of whipped up into this media frenzy, which we do because we love our tech. I, for one, personally do. I don't love spending money so much, but yeah, I do enjoy it. It's all part of the whole PC thing. Now I've got some processors. Sorry, no, I don't have processors. That's exactly what I don't have. Rum's kicked in. I've got some coolers that I need to test. As you know, I test at the moment with the Ryzen 5 3600, which isn't great. It's a test of sorts because it's kind of the most popular chip on the market, so it makes sense because a lot of people are going to relate to it, but it doesn't really test these processors to their thermal limits. Oh yeah, go on in, yeah, please.
Do you want more ice?
Yeah, go on in, please. Thank you. So I need a new processor. Now, ideally I want a 56... No, I don't want a 5600. Ideally I want a 5900. But it's a lot of money. It really is. Now, at the moment, it would be great because it's new and it will have some longevity on the channel as well. So it serves two purposes. One, it works on the channel, makes sense, and it's kind of like keeping current so that when I'm doing reviews or doing any sort of PC work, I'm using the latest technology so I can relate my findings to you guys, etc., etc. You get the general idea. So yes, that's all well and good, but it's going to cost me a lot of money, kind of £600 plus, I think it is. Which is a lot of money for a processor, let's be real. So, my consideration is, do I buy another Ryzen 5 3600 that I've already got to have a separate test bench to keep deliberately set up so I can keep everything the same in stock? Or do I get a 3900 and use it in my PC for video editing, because it does help with things like those warp stabilizing moments, which do certainly happen. And also it generates quite a lot of heat, so it's a very good tester for larger coolers. Yes, makes sense. But it's £400, give or take a few pence. Knowing what we know about the market, that could all change, so I'm really hesitant to buy a 3900. So then I'm thinking, what else can I buy which is going to generate some heat? And I've actually got motherboards that can run it. So then I'm thinking 2700X, £150, still a great chip, quite toasty as well, so that would actually be pretty good for testing coolers. But I know what's going to happen immediately. I'll do a video, I'll say this was tested on a 2700X, and immediately the comments are going to be, you've reviewed it on a 2-year-old processor or 3-year-old processor, depending when the video is. So it makes sense to buy because it's cheap and it's fast and it's hot, but it's old. It's a very difficult predicament to be in for a YouTuber who's trying to do the right thing by the audience, but also do the right thing by my bank balance. It's a very, very difficult place to be. It genuinely is. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, actually. Would you be happy to see processor cooler results based on a 2700X, which is older technology? I'm genuinely interested to know what your thoughts are on it, because essentially what I do is for you lot. So you really call the shots. Yes, Kath?
Fit too bad.
Kath says fit too bad. I can't see where that is.
Too far up.
Skystalker says everyone's sending you coolers, not more AirPods. Yeah, AirPods are...
That conversation this week.
Yeah. One question, Mike. Did you do a build with the GameX Abyss gaming case? Sorry I asked again, but as my Wi-Fi is being a nightmare. Fit too bad. Yes, I did. Yeah, the GameX Abyss. And the GameX Abyss is actually still running in my friend's business. He runs a detailing company, which is, oh God, Zotac UK. So if you're into your car stuff, polishes, detailing, etc., Zotac Detailing UK. Chris, his name is. He's a great guy, and he's actually using that case as his business PC. It looks amazing. It really does.
He looks like Channing.
He looks like Channing Tatum. Whoa! What do I do? I just pressed the button. Oh crap! I've just come out of my live stream. Hello? Am I still there? Oh, come on, live chat. Something's broken. Gary says, use the 37X, the power draw is supposed to be the same as the new ones. That is another consideration. And price-wise now, it probably does make a little bit more sense. Prices have gone... I wish I'd have bought the 3900 in the summer. I cannot believe... I said to myself at the time, why don't I buy a 3900 in the summer when it's cheaper, just get it out of the way. But I know I was too tight and I didn't want to spend the money. I had my 3600, so yeah, it's all good. I regret that immensely. Should have bought it. There's probably at least 5 times it was in my Amazon basket and I was ready to do it. A couple of times I actually, no, I'm not going to say that. Skystalker says, honestly, Mike, the 3900X is a really hot chip. That would be the gold standard, I think. Okay.
I think you're right. You're above what I was going to say.
Kath Churchill, is she on the Captain Morgan too? No, she's not. Peer pressure.
Don't like it.
Drink.
I was sick on it. I can't drink that again ever. That's my life at Captain Morgan over.
It's good stuff.
We've divorced.
Tristan G says, what? Cheap, hot, fast, and old. What the heck are we? Drunk in Amsterdam? I'm losing track of what's going on now. Mohsin Javid. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. 3570K, any good, Mike? Yeah. Ultimately, I think YouTube and the tech media in general is kind of... It makes you feel like what you've got isn't good enough. And I think, much like social media in general, we see all these other systems and they've got all their flashy lights and they've got their amazing graphics cards, blazing fast SSDs and all that kind of stuff. And it makes you question if your stuff is actually good enough. But essentially, what it comes down to is if what you've got does the job you want it to do, then yeah, it's fine. Yes, you can always get faster and you can always get more expensive. That is the world. It always is the case. Cars, bikes, houses, cats. You can spend loads and loads of money if you really, really want to, but do you need to? If you just want companionship, get yourself a cat from the cat's home.
Ow.
Not that one, because he's biting.
Biting me.
Swine.
Being nice to you.
He just wants attention. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, processor-wise, graphics card-wise, storage-wise, if it does what you need it to do, and you're happy with that, then it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And it depends on the purpose. Like, I've got PCs in here which are real slow, comparatively, but they do the job that I need them to do in the place that they're in. So it works. It's absolutely fine. It's when you get to the point where you've got a PC, where you're trying to do something, and you're like sat there waiting, spinning wheels going, you're like, I could be doing something else, When you get to that point, when you could be doing something else in the time that you're waiting for your PC to do its job, that's when you should start spending your money, which is kind of the reason why I need a new CPU for my video editing PC, because it does take a little bit of time. David Aiken says, I've never seen someone drink a rum and coke separately. Yeah, I know. I am a little bit odd. I think it's because I had a pizza for dinner and I'm a little bit dehydrated from that. So this is the hydration and that is the kind of the sweetener.
To make it feel like the burnt pizza, wasn't it?
Yeah. Irie Wolfman says, cherry Pepsi, spicy rum. This is no Kerry Holzman show. This is very, very true. Kerry Holzman should do that. Someone should swap his Coca-Cola for something stronger and watch him, see what he says. That'd be hilarious. Stuart Clary has come in with a €5 super chat. Says, great advice as usual, Mike. Cheers. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate your €5. Does Discord down? No. Thomas Mark says, Mike. Thomas. Harold says, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, games were good and graphics cards were cheap. Yeah, I miss that. I really do miss that, where a graphics card, you had like 3 tiers of graphics card, essentially, which you kind of do now, but it's more kind of, those tiers have got individual tiers of their own. So it used to be, you had your entry-level graphics card, which was maybe like 8 megabyte card. Then you had your 16 megabyte card, and then you had your 32 megabyte cards. And at the bottom end, you'd have like maybe your ATI Rage card, Rage Pro. Then you'd have your Rage 128, and then maybe your Rage Fury or Rage something else. And there was definite segments, and there was like £50, £100, £150. And you knew exactly where you were. Whereas now it's kind of £150 is kind of like your entry level. £500 is kind of like your high to mid range, and £800 is kind of top end. I don't know what happened to make it jump so much price wise. It is pretty insane. Dumbass says, Mike, on your cooler tests, are you using thermal pad or thermal paste? Now, to be completely honest with you, I have used a combination. So I did say, I think in the Corsair video, or possibly one of the gelid ones, that the results are slightly skewed due to the fact of using different paste methods and obviously using thermal pads versus paste. So what I'm going to try and do now going forward is I'm going to use the paste which is pre-supplied, which I think is actually a slightly fair representation. Now you could say, well no, it's better to use the same paste for everything or the same pad for everything, because then you get the difference in the cooler. But ultimately, when you buy a cooler, you're more likely to be using the pre-applied paste or the paste that comes in the tube with the cooler. Does that make sense? So going forward, yes, rather than being entirely scientific in saying this is exactly what you get using the same paste all the way through and thermal differences, I'm going to be going with what comes in the box, because I think that is more relatable to the real world. And also, again, because I'm only using that 3600, which doesn't get particularly warm, well, it still does get hot, but it's not as hot. So the kind of minute thermal differences that you'd get from a higher end paste or from using a paste versus a pad, etc., isn't as relevant, I don't think, because the transfer is a little bit slower. There is going to have to be some tweaks, I think, to the methodology of my testing, because I am using most of the testing is done on my own PC, which again I'm doing to try and make it like a real world test. So you've got real world stuff going on. So you've got maybe OneDrive in the background updating, Steam doing something or other, Discord chugging away. There's various things going on. So I'm trying to make it so it's realistic. For me, doing a scientific test with basically like a fresh Windows install every time with nothing running, nothing installed, just the chipset drivers and graphics drivers, isn't really a realistic test. It will give you, yes, specifics on if your PC was like this and you use this thermal pad, this will be your result. But in the real world, no one's like that. You buy a cooler, you put it in your PC, and you've got all your games and stuff and apps and OneDrive and Office 360 or Norton antivirus, whatever the case is, you're going to have that stuff running away in the background, which is real life. So I think testing in real life where you do get variances, and I'm trying to run tests as well for extended periods and over 2 reboots as well. So I do one on a fresh reboot with everything just as it is, and then I do one after maybe like half an hour or so of the PC being on, just to get a kind of A to B. Now, most of the time, those A to B results, which you guys never get to see because I do all that in the background, the A to B results are so close that it's kind of like, well, why am I bothering? So I may get to the point where I stop doing those kind of fresh boot and half an hour tests because it wastes my time essentially, and I don't think the results really matter as much as other things like, is there a bigger difference? Is it really cheap? Is it very easy to install? All those kinds of things. Again, that is something that I'm going to be guided by you guys, and the viewer rates, and also the comments on the YouTube videos. And for all of you that do actually mention or comment on the videos every day, Kath and I both, 1,000 thanks. We totally appreciate it because it does boost the algorithm. Even if you're a subscriber and you get it and you maybe only watch a couple of seconds of it, if you can, take a couple of seconds, just write something in the comment section. It does make a big difference to the channel. It really does. Yeah, if you want to answer other people's questions, hey, knock yourself out. I won't feel kind of put out or anything that you're trying to take over. Please do go in there and say what you want, because it is getting to the point where
I don't have the answers.
I think we're getting up to the region of around about, I think it's almost about 800,000 views a month, which if you think that even 1% of those views results in a comment or a question, that's a lot of questions to answer if you divide it down by how many days are in a month, etc.
I answer as many as I can.
So please do help out if you want to. Yeah, Ugly Bob, leave a comment but don't steal his catchphrase, which Bob did. David says, hey Mike, really liked your XFX RX 5700 XT review. Plan on picking one up for Black Friday. Thoughts on the difference between the Thick 3 or the triple dissipation? Well, from what I can tell, the Thick 3 is basically an overclocked version of the triple dissipation, and it does look a little bit different as well. They both got the dual BIOS switch, and in the performance BIOS on the Thick 3, there is a noticeable improvement in performance, but you do pay a little bit of a premium for it. And some people have reported getting issues with artifacts running consistently at those higher speeds. So for me, I don't know, it's based on price. If you can get a Thick 3 for the same price as the triple dissipation, then you might as well get the Thick 3, and worst case scenario, just run it in quiet mode. It still performs really well. So I said, what is a Thick 3? The Thick 3 is a version of a graphics card. The oh god, here we go. The XFX 3700 XT, which actually this week has been problematic. Being completely honest and transparent, as I tried to be, that card has been a right royal pain in the backside this week. And for no fault of his own. The fault of it is entirely down to AMD's drivers, or potentially a little bit of Adobe as well. In Adobe Premiere, for those of you that do video editing, you can, if you want to, you can get a JPEG, put it onto the timeline, and when the head goes past, the JPEG's displayed on the screen. Simple stuff. For some bizarre reason, with both the Adrenaline Pro and the normal Adrenaline drivers, there is corruption that happens in the JPEGs in the current version of Adobe Premiere. Even the fact that the RX 5700 XT is compatible with Adobe Premiere. It's actually in the list of compatible graphics cards now, using the OpenCL rendering, etc., blah, 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 blah. Yes, it is usable in there. But for some reason, that has crept in. And I didn't realise it until a couple of days ago. I was going through a video and I was like, why does the Mike's Unboxing logo look weird? So if you go back to some of the videos I've done in this last week, on the intro where it says, hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing, there's a little thing that comes in at the top and it goes, whoosh, whoosh, zooms in, zooms out. That's a JPEG.
How's it go?
Whoosh, whoosh. That's how it goes. And the JPEG in those videos is corrupted. Now I thought at the time it's just because the video's not rendered and it'll be fine in the output. But for some reason it hasn't made it fine. And there is an issue, and lots of people are talking about it online, saying that basically pretty much most Radeon cards at the moment are having that same issue. So there's 5500s, 5600s, 5700s, etc, etc. And it's going to be interesting to see if that happens in the latest batch of the 6000 series. Because if it does, basically if you're buying one of those for video editing, you're screwed. If you're using Adobe Premiere. Now you can get around it by converting the JPEG to a PNG file, in which case it works absolutely fine. But if you've got a lot of JPEGs that you're trying to put into your video, such as, for instance, let me think, oh yeah, PowerPoint slides. They do the same thing apparently. So if it's converted to a JPEG, it has an issue. And I've tried taking the JPEG out, resaving it, put it back in, it still does exactly the same thing as a JPEG. So it is problematic. So I've actually had to take out my 5700 XT from my video editing PC, and it's actually on the box in the shelf out there. And I've gone back to my 2060 KO for video editing, which is really disappointing because I actually want to play some Flight Sim 2020, but the 2060 KO does struggle a little bit at 1440p.
That's an easy fix, Kev says.
Kev, yeah, I did do that easy fix. I actually thought there was a fix by using the Radeon Pro driver, because that is supposedly for issues with Adobe Premiere, but it didn't work, so yes.
Angel was in, I don't
That's
know
it.
if it still is.
Angel? Hello, Angel.
Angel?
Angel?
Who is this, Gary?
Who is this Gary? Ricardo says, sorry I had to leave, what did I miss? Nothing apart from the ramblings of a slightly aging, bold Bristolian.
Don't hold back.
That's me, not Kath. Ooh, Pierre Plays, message deleted by the Google moderator team.
Where's that?
That's impressive. Well done.
Where's that?
Jay Jones says, Mike, sell me the graphics card. I'm not going to sell you it because I want to use it. Let's be honest, I do really want to have that Team Red build. It's so annoying. It really is annoying. Everything on the PC is much better, much faster. It just feels more snappy with that card in there. But the video editing is a big part of what that PC does. So, yeah, I can't do it. I'm not going to go to the point where I resave every JPEG as a PNG for now. I might end up doing that. I do actually find that the NVIDIA card is faster when it comes to rendering videos as well, which is an Adobe thing. It always has been. They've always favored NVIDIA over AMD for some reason. Even if you get a really fast AMD card, the rendering still does take a little while. So, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Pierre Play says, I was saying I had a video corrupted as well. Oh, that's interesting.
Where is it? I didn't even see it. How do you know about it?
It's corrupt. It says it in the chat there.
Google moderator team.
Yeah, it did say it, but then it got it above it. Yeah, she deleted it as well. Kenny D says, Mike's unboxing reviews and how to. What are your thoughts on the RTX 3060 and 3050 rumours? Especially that they will only have 6 gigs and 4 gigs of VRAM. It's a difficult one. 4 gigs of RAM kind of is enough for 1080p gaming in a lot of instances. I've actually been running Far Cry New Dawn at 1440p, and even then it still only uses about 4.5, maybe 3 gigs of RAM. And that's on both cards, the AMD and the NVIDIA ones. NVIDIA do have better compression technology, so you will find that in games you do use more VRAM on an AMD card than we would on an NVIDIA card of a similar kind of ilk. So if you're using, say, an 8 gig NVIDIA card versus an 8 gig Radeon, you'll probably find that most games will use probably about half a gig more of video memory. And I'm wondering actually if in the new cards, the 6000 series, because they've got that kind of infinity fabric, that is a form of caching. So whether or not they will use more video RAM in that as well, because the cache can hold some as well, that'll be interesting to see. These new cards actually do have a lot of RAM. I think they're 16 gigs, some of them. I think all of them actually are 16 gigs, thinking about it. I have to watch the video back. But yeah, so they've all got more video RAM, which kind of might go in some way as to explaining why that happens. Who knows? We'll find out sooner or later. Hopefully they should be out. I think it's in a week's time. Probably won't get one though. Kit Mello says it's not AMD's problem, it's Adobe's problem. Kit, it is very easy to kind of lay the blame at someone's door. Now, obviously, AMD don't have a massive R&D team, unlike Adobe and Intel, Nvidia, etc. So, I always thought, now I don't know this for a fact, this is entirely speculation, but I've always thought that maybe Nvidia and Intel were kind of coercing Adobe into making their product work better on their architecture. Now, it's not unheard of, it does happen. Look at things like Far Cry. Originally, that was kind of an Nvidia title, then it swapped over and became an AMD title. We get this a lot of the time where you get some titles which are specifically written or sponsored or collaborated with on a particular chipset. It happens all the time. But when you get to something which is kind of almost as kind of universal as Adobe Premiere, as being the kind of pretty much the de facto video editing tool for most creators from the kind of entry level through to some large film corporations actually still use Adobe Premiere to make films. So it's got a very wide spread within the industry. So you'd expect them to have some kind of, not transparency, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of open platform so that everyone can make the most of it, whether you're on a Mac, whether you're on a PC, whether you're on Intel, AMD, etc., etc. You get the idea. But it doesn't seem that is the case. So NVIDIA cards definitely do seem to have the upper hand when it comes to Adobe Premiere. Now, the other way around, if you look at DaVinci actually seems to run better on AMD cards. Now, DaVinci is pretty much open to anyone. There's a free version of it available. So I don't know whether the paid version actually then kind of balances it out and there's more features, so NVIDIA comes out on top. I honestly don't know.
Ooh, ugly Bob's got sharp eyes.
Yes, true, yeah. Kit Mino says, rip AMD users. It does, yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. I really wish, that is the one thing which AMD, on the graphics card side of things, for me, is always been that kind of slight kind of, oh, do I? You pretty much know with the current range of NVIDIA cards that driver-wise, you're going to be pretty sorted and you're going to have a wide range of compatibility with a lot of apps, games, etc., etc. Even if the game isn't optimized for NVIDIA, generally it will still run exceptionally well. And you've got those extra features in the NVIDIA cards. Obviously, you've got ray tracing, which is the tensor cores, etc., etc. So some things like that are kind of only for NVIDIA. Not that they can't be kind of converted to AMD in the future, but you know what I mean. So it's happened for a long time, ever since NVIDIA got like the PhysX, so they had the extra physics built into games. It's a thing. NVIDIA have always had those other little things. We've just made it pit AMD slightly more and making it a more value proposition. Using things like OBS, video editing, streaming, NVIDIA cards do seem to have that little edge over AMD, which is a real shame. I don't know where I was going for. I'm lost now. I'm completely lost. That's my rant over. Anyway, just AMD, sort yourselves out. Adobe, sort yourselves out. Let's just have a universal platform where everything just will work, if it can. And also I'm getting fed up of installing DDU, removing all my drivers, installing them back in, and then doing it again. Ridiculous. Pierre Play says, I wish YouTube had a pay once option. I hate the monthly fee, but I refuse to use anything else as I really like it. I'm in the same boat, yeah. I really do, I wouldn't say I enjoy using Adobe Premiere. I think I've become familiar with it and I kind of know its limitations, what I can and can't do with it, even though I do really just scratch the surface of what is available. But for me, I just kind of, I know what to expect from it. And also, if you need any help or support, it's really easy. Anything that goes wrong in Adobe Premiere, you can type it into Google and you can guarantee someone else had the problem, or there's a helpful YouTube video on it, such as the ones that I've done. Please watch them, like and subscribe. With DaVinci, there is also help available, but not quite as much, I don't think. Is it because it's less problematic? Possibly. Maybe. Skystalker says, if I can source a 6800 XT, I will buy it for my personal rig. Nothing I have to support. Good for you. Captain Meets Adventure says, Kath, will you ask Mike to say hello? Megan Donaldson. Do you want to go to bed? Megan, do you want to go to bed?
A bed?
That's what we say in Bristol. Do you want to go to bed? Go get a bed. We don't, I just made that up. Mohsin Javid says, why don't you answer my question from above? There's no need to shout. Capital letters are shouting.
He's got his Mickey Mouse ears on, he can hear.
I can hear. I can't even see your question. Where is it? Where is the question? What's the Intel equivalent of an AMD A9 and AMD Athlon AMD A4? Oh, bloody hell. What is the Intel equivalent of an AMD A9? I don't know, is the honest answer. The A9 AMD isn't particularly great, and the AMD A4 even less so. So I would say it's probably a Celeron, possibly. Maybe an i3 at a push. But probably something like the... maybe one of the J series Celerons? Or, no, is it Pentium J series? I think that is kind of it, almost. Not too sure. J Jones, 27 inch is the max for 1080p, surely? Yes.
He isn't asking, he's, I think.
All right.
I think that's somebody else's question.
Yeah, I was looking at a monitor today. There is a deal. Actually, this was posted on our Discord in the deal section by C McKnight. God bless him. Poe. I had to add that bit.
I love Poe.
So there is a monitor from the manufacturer Electric, which is a UK-based monitor distributor, manufacturer, whatever you want to call it. And they've got a 165 hertz, 32 inch, 1440p curved monitor for less than £200 with a 2-year warranty. And it actually does look pretty decent. It's even got RGB on the back. It's got support for a 165 hertz display port. It's got support for 144 hertz through HDMI 2.0. I'm really looking at a monitor and thinking to myself, there has to be something really badly wrong with it. Now, there is actually something which is not great about it. The on-screen menu is a bit crap. The buttons are, rather than having a joystick, it's got the buttons, which, yeah. How often do you go into the on-screen menu? Probably not a lot. The angle of adjustment for the screen is literally tilt, that's all it's got. It's got no swivel. I feel like I'm driving a car. And it hasn't got any, what's the thing? Height adjustment, that's what I was looking for. So no height, yes, and it's FreeSync too. So it supports FreeSync up to 165 hertz. But it's only a 5 millisecond response time grey to grey, which for a VA panel is possibly a little bit on the low side. Obviously 1 millisecond would be ideal, but if you think about it, if you've got 60 Hertz, then the response time is 16 milliseconds. 75 Hertz I think is 14 milliseconds. So as you work backwards, actually 5 milliseconds for 165 Hertz is pretty much the sweet spot. So you shouldn't get too much ghosting on that. It should be quite minimal. I'm thinking it'll be, because when you get a monitor, the ghosting, you get the screen draw and then you get the kind of like the after draw, which is due to the response time. So you might find that the initial draw is fine, but the after draw leaves a slight blur. I'm actually really tempted to get one for £200 and see what it's like. Harold said, Mike, you can't keep us here this long without giving us a drink. Have a drink. Feel free. Have a drink on me. Cheers, everybody. Matthew Days posted a possible AMD Premiere solution. I'll have to take a look at that later. Matthew, could you possibly send me that on the Discord? If you would be so kind. I have looked into a few potential fixes, such as there is one where you can turn off the hardware sync or hardware support for something in Adobe Premiere. And it kind of works, but then it slows down the entire timeline, which is not so good, especially if you only got 6 cores. Only 6 cores.
What was the brand of monitor you just mentioned?
The brand of monitor I mentioned was Electric. So it's spelt as in electric, as in what powers lights and stuff, but it's got a Q on the end rather than a C. So actually, it look.
Review it.
Oh yeah, Reese Reed. Sorry.
Did we review it? We haven't, have we?
No, I was thinking about it. Do you think I should get it?
Yeah, go for it.
Go on then. you can spend my money.
You buy it on my account anyway.
I know. Yes, if you want it, actually, let's tell you what I'll do.
Write it on my list of...
I'll quickly find it and we'll have a quick look and see if you think it's actually any good. It's on Laptops Direct. And I think it's actually on our Discord. I could have gone there actually, that'd have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? Electric.
I thought it was Amazon.
Monitors. 32 inches. 32 inches curved is really nice size. The one I've got on there at the moment is a 30 inch, but it's not curved, and it's only got 75 Hertz response, and it is a little bit on the kind of ghosty side, if I'm completely honest. Scrolling, I am starting to notice it is a little bit blurry, even with my old geezer eyes. So here we go, got it. So there are Laptops Direct. You can get it from any of their sites, so Appliances Direct, Drones Direct, Furniture 123, etc., etc. There's loads of versions. I think they've like Student Direct as well. So this is it, the Electric with a Q, 32 inch Quad HD, HDR. Oh, I didn't mention this HDR. I'm looking at the camera. You can't see me looking at the camera. Anyway.
260 on Amazon.
So yeah, 260 quid on Amazon at the moment. This is reduced by 70 quid. This was 269, which actually makes sense because it is about that sort of price. So in stock for delivery on Monday the 16th of November, which yes, we are liking.
Stick in the basket.
I can't because they'll see my details. The bastards.
Put the camera on the other view.
Yeah. Good point. So 32 inch QHD monitor, FreeSync support, 5 millisecond response time, RGB lighting, and 165 Hertz refresh rate. Now, I've actually never owned a monitor with more than 75 Hertz refresh rate, so it would actually make a lot of sense.
Would the cats be able to watch cat TV on it there?
No. Let's have a look at the pictures. So curved screen, as you can see. Not massively curved, but it has got a slight curve to it, which is nice for that immersive experience. 51.3 centimeters high. QHD, like I said, 165 Hz refresh time. It says there 1 millisecond response time, which I'm thinking is more likely, being that it is a VA. Yeah, if I have a few more drinks, it'll be fine. So AMD FreeSync up to that 165 Hz. It isn't G-Sync compatible because it doesn't have a G-Sync module, but if you're using it with the NVIDIA card, then most of them will actually use it anyway, so it should be fine. The display stand isn't great. It's perfectly functional. It's actually got built-in speakers as well and 4 inputs, which is pretty insane. So you've got your 12 volt DC input, so it's running on a separate power supply, which is actually quite nice because if the power pack ever goes, you can just replace those really easily. You've got DisplayPort 1, which supports up to 165 Hz. This HDMI 1, which is up to 144 Hz. HDMI 2.0. HDMI port 2 is actually HDMI 1.4, so that's limited to 75 Hz FreeSync. So if you're using this with like an Xbox or something like that, plug it into there, absolutely fine. And the secondary display port, I believe, is still the same DisplayPort 1.4, which will support up to 165 Hz. And you've got audio out, so you can pass through the audio from their individual respective devices to something like a soundbar or something like that. And it has got built-in speakers, allegedly, which are 3-watt speakers from what I recall. But yeah, seems like a decent idea. 2-year warranty. Now the one thing I did notice, which makes me think that this company are an absolute bunch of tossers, no disrespect intended. So let's check out now and see if they're going to do it. Yeah, so being absolute money-grabbing SOBs, let's expand that. So they've included in your basket, just in case you might want it, a essential 5-point check to basically make sure that it's not knackered. Which to me, for 20 quid, is alright. It kind of makes sense if you're really picky about it. So essentially, let's see what this covers.
What is it?
It's a warranty. It's not a warranty, it's a check.
What, to make sure it's not faulty before they send it to you?
Yeah. We'll go through it now because this is actually, it's bullshit, but it's also, it does make sense as well.
But surely they can't send you faulty goods.
No, that's the thing. Monitors come with a warranty, which normally is defects, like it doesn't work at all. But if it's got maybe a dead pixel or a stuck pixel, that isn't always covered by a manufacturer's warranty. So you could spend 200 quid on a nice new screen and there'd be a bright white pixel in the middle of the screen, and you go around and say, well, it doesn't work. It's faulty. And they say, well, no, it's a stuck pixel, it happens. Live with it. Which is why you can either spend 20 quid and get them to check out to see if it actually has a dead pixel or a stuck pixel.
Not use your glasses while you're using it.
Yeah. It says there, we'll check for any dead or stuck pixels, something that is not covered by the manufacturer's warranty. Now this is where it gets interesting because I actually took the liberty of looking at the manufacturer's website for this, and nowhere on their site does it say that dead pixels or stuck pixels are not part of the warranty. So because they haven't actually said it isn't part of it specifically and clearly, then you could argue that it should be covered under warranty. Now a lot of that is down to legal stuff and you may or may not get any luck with it. But essentially they're asking you for 20 quid to take it out of the box, fire it up and make sure it works and hasn't got any dead or stuck pixels. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I feel like that is a bit crappy. So with that in mind, let's go to, where are we? I want a new incognito window just in case. And let's go to electric.
Avenue.
No, electric.co.uk, which is their website.
It isn't selling, says you can send it back anyway.
So this is their thing. So let's look at products. And in their products, mostly they do like general house stuff. So clearly they're just rebranding stuff. But if we go down to Monetarios, And we'll look for our 32-inch loveliness, which is, that is the one there, I believe. What's the part number? 32CVQ165VAFH. Yeah, that's the one. And let's have a quick look. It doesn't say anywhere here about anything about warranty. Nothing is actually mentioned. You've got tech specs. Now I think by the actual selling regulations, it just says manufacturer warranty. So they should, actually, let's see if it says report of fault. Wonder if it says it in there. So, no, it just says registering. So there's nothing actually clear which states categorically that what is and what isn't covered by the actual warranty. Now I did also look at the user manual, which you'd expect to have all that kind of information on, because I do look into this stuff. It's not as if I just buy stuff randomly, review it, and then worry about it after. I do actually try and look at this stuff. So we're going to support at the end. So it's page 13 of our manual. Sorry for those of you who are getting seasick right now. So 13, so troubleshooting. Doesn't say anything. It says about environmental protection and all that stuff. And it doesn't say anything about their warranty. Nothing at all. So there's nothing implied, either written or otherwise, which would say that the monitor doesn't have a warranty against dead pixels. Now they could turn around, you could phone them up and say, look, I got this monitor from you, it's got a dead pixel or a stuck pixel. They are within their rights to say it's not covered, but you could argue quite easily, well, you haven't made that clear on your website, and due to the distance sailing regulations, I'm going to send it back. You've then got to go through all that aggro, so it could be a pain in the backside. So some people are going to be kind of paying that 20 quid just to avoid the aggro. So if you want to save the 20 quid and take a punt on it, then obviously you can do. That's my thoughts on it anyway. Let's see what your thoughts are on it also. If I can find the thing. Come on, live streaming. There we go. So, yeah, Glenn's saying there, most monitor makers do have a dead pixel policy in place, usually saying that it's not covered with warranty. John Sullivan says I got the Pixio PX277 Prime for 320. John Sullivan, did you see that on, what's the name of the channel? Greg Salazar. He reviewed that recently. I looked at it actually and I thought for 320 quid, that doesn't seem bad. But this actually, from what I can tell, is the same spec, but bigger, I think. That was a 27 against a 32.
Somebody said something bad about it. Not bad, but only catches the low DPI.
Yeah, the pixel density is 0.27, which for a 32 inch is kind of expectable. I've actually got my monitor over there, like I said just now. That is a 1440p at 32 inches, and for me it's absolutely fine. It's a really nice combination of, I really like to be able to put two screens next to each other. Not actually physical screens, but you know, like two windows side by side. I love working like that, so for me 32 inch is good. HDR 400 is a con. It does.
Ugly Bob uses Amazon, so no questions asked on returns.
Yeah, I am very kind of, I'm on the wall. No, I'm on the fence. Wall, fence, same thing as a boundary. I'm on the fence about this one. I'm tempted to get Kath's monitor over there. She's struggled with for ages and it is a little bit wrecked. We basically rescued that monitor from the bin. Skip, sorry. So her monitor isn't the greatest. It's usable, it works, but she does deserve better. So
aww,
maybe you
never said that.
Maybe you can have my monitor and I'll get a new one, or maybe you can have the new one and you can give it a cast review. Get your ass on the screen.
No, you can have it.
Not going to happen. Ah dear. Yeah, HDR. It does support HDR, that monitor, but it's kind of like, yeah.
That's Co-Link Citadel, isn't it, behind?
Yeah, case behind, someone asked, is, yes, the Co-Link Citadel. I do love this case.
That's when you find the door's not fully attached and smash.
It's a nice case. I do like it. It needs a new cooler.
A new what?
A new cooler, as James Miscellaneous would say. There we go.
Now you've got to get your ears back on.
Got to get my Mickey Mouse ears. Hey, there you go, everybody. Sorry. There we go, losing subscribers by the second.
Our Wolfman's daughter thought you had Mickey Mouse ears.
I do a little bit. Angry Doe says, hello, sorry I'm back. Where you been? Nice mouse, Mike. Yeah. Actually, looking at it, I can see what's on the screen there. And looking at that actually looks a lot nicer than the view I get of it. Because that's what I see, really. Which actually doesn't look too bad. Or I see that. But from the... Oh, what's going on there? Oh, of course, I'm moving the mouse, aren't I? Dipstick.
It looks like the Corsair H500. That's mine, isn't it? What's mine?
No, yours is the Corsair M55.
Mine's got no
Hits the print screen button, yeah. It looks like the Logitech G502. It does actually a little bit. Right, time's running on, so I've outstayed my welcome. Thank you all very much. Plenty of things to think about, so for the build coming up. And luckily, thinking about that monitor has taken my mind off of the build altogether, so maybe I can worry about it when I go to sleep. Yeah, another day or when I go to sleep. Most likely when I go to sleep, and then the cogs will start spinning and like, and then I'll give up. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us in the stream. We always appreciate it. Thank you all so much as well to those of you that have joined us on Super Chat. If you're, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're tech motivated or you just want to hang out with some like-minded people, as always, our invitation is open to you all. So if you want to join our Discord, as long as you follow by the rules and aren't being a dick, then you're more than welcome to join us. There are some rules to read before you get in there, but once you do that, you're happy to stay and be a part of our little growing community. And yeah, we thoroughly encourage you to. If you've got any problems with updating your BIOS, please make sure you tag your message to C. McKnight or Dave Aiken. They will be glad to help you with all your BIOS updates. Sorry, I'm trying to say that whilst not smiling. Yeah, don't update your BIOS, guys, unless you have to. If you buy a processor from the 5000 series and your motherboard doesn't support it, then yes, possibly do your BIOS upgrade. But don't do it just because you've seen some dick on YouTube making a video on it and it looks like a good idea. Yeah, if he's got Mickey Mouse ears, don't believe a word of it. It's all BS. Anyway, thanks all. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for your Thanks for your participation. Wow, that was hard to say. Don't forget to smash the like button, and if you can, like and share the video, and yeah, share it with your friends. Stick it on social media. It can't be worse than putting a Trump thing on there, can it? Surely. Who knows? I should say Biden as well, just to even things out. So there you go. We're partisan. No, we're non-partisan here. So either way, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. So thanks very much for joining. If you want to carry on chatting after the stream, then join us on Discord. I'll put my Discord webcam on. So when I'm de-rigging all this stream stuff, if you want to have a chat with us in the after show, you're more than welcome to join us. So
and I do actually go on that one.
And Kath gets on it as well. So if you want to see what Kath actually looks like, even after she's eaten a shit ton of pizza today, then you're more than welcome to join us and say hello to us after the stream. So on that note, we'll bid you farewell and stay safe, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.